Hey everybody, good Saturday morning, top of the morning to you. Eddie Williams Sellers, laying here in bed at 6:14, having my cup of coffee, and I ate me a donut. I need to get away from them donuts. You can probably hear Boom Boom. See him? He's in snore. So, got the BBC on with the sound down. We woke up this morning to war. The Morning Post, everybody. Good morning. Wake up. Let's. Man, it's beautiful here in Atlanta. We're just in the midst of spring right here. Even, I guess, tomorrow is the 1st of March, though. And by the time April gets here, it really will be spring. So time's flying by, isn't it? Anyway, let's do the Morning Post this morning, y'all. Waking up to war. It does make me a little apprehensive to be traveling internationally in a couple of weeks now that we have bombed Iran. I am lying in bed this morning. Boom Boom and Gracie are under the covers. Boom Boom is snoring. Here, he's a snorer. Boom Boom is snoring. The BBC News channel is playing in the background. There is a heavy fog outside my bedroom windows this morning. The morning is starting. It is 5:27 when I started writing. Ava is in Wilmington this morning. I noticed the first thing that Iran did was to have a complete blackout of all of their internet services. I thought that was telling. The first act they do is to prevent their people from communicating with each other and from getting any news from any outside sources. That's always very telling, isn't it? This operation, from the beginning, has Israeli thumbprints all over it, which is not a dig at Israel, but we know Trump can be very easily manipulated. And Netanyahu seems to play Trump seems to play Trump like a violin. I think Israel's the catalyst behind all this. Trump's foreign policy is strange. He has used foreign policy as a way to grift millions of dollars for his family. Some even say billions. Yet at the same time, I don't disagree with the changes that are coming to Venezuela and Cuba. Shooting unarmed small boats out of the water was so inhumane and un-American. That was disturbing, y'all. It still is. I think Trump is really just heartless. Just heartless. Which is a dangerous thing to be if you're the most powerful person on the planet. I would hope someone in his position would just have a real good heart. And so, but their heart come into play in some of these decisions. He seems cold and heartless, and at least up until this point, I've never seen that man show any evidence that he has a heart, you know. Will the Iranian people rise up and throw the Ayatollahs out of power? Probably not. But in this new world, who knows what could happen? And then in the midst of all of this, there is the whole Epstein files things going on with Bill and Hillary testifying before Congress the last couple of days. Some on the internet will say, well, Trump is just concocting all of this as a way to distract from the Epstein files. Y'all, that's not true. I don't believe that. Even if there's evidence and pictures of Trump himself having sex with children, even if he went on national TV and said, yeah, I had sex with children, and it was back in that time. It's that old adage of if I shot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, his people would still support him. Even if there's evidence in the Epstein, and Trump knows this of whatever he did with underage children, and what all he concocted with Ghislaine and Epstein or whatever. Trump don't care about all that. He knows his people that vote for him would still vote for him. It would make no difference to them. And And you Trump voters out there, you know that's the truth. You'd still go vote for him. You'd find some kind of manipulative way to manipulate yourself into thinking, well, these other things I like about him, though. It wouldn't make no difference to y'all. This is the most aggressive foreign policy I have seen in my lifetime. If the Cuban people are able to come out of from under communist rule almost peacefully, it will be a great foreign policy achievement. If Venezuela is able to return to a more kind of pro democracy government and be done with the radical socialists of Chavez and Maduro, little Marco Rubio, as Trump calls him, will more than likely be the next president. But it all could blow up, and thousands of Americans could die, and planes could be blown out of the air like in the old days, which is my apprehension about all this. And the fact that I'm about to head 2 miles over here to the airport and get on an all night flight to London. Somehow, in all of this, the war in Ukraine seems to be on the back page. But there are some reports that are saying that Ukraine is holding its own and even making small gains against the war with Russia. And this coming Tuesday, there are primaries across the country and in Texas and different places as voting is starting to heat up. Good Saturday morning, sweet people. And on Facebook, I see where Jim Swilley's mother, Miss Darlene Swilley, passed yesterday. And Lance's husband, Jeff, also passed. I followed his journey for the last 10 months with glioblastoma, the same brain cancer that my friend John died of. I know that's tough. Lance bought a puppy for me years ago. 2 puppies, I believe it was. Yeah, that's got to be heartbreaking for him to go through that. And Miss Darlene, I texted Jim last night, and I told him, I said, I was at Habitat yesterday, walking around, and I got a text from Ava and said, "Did you see Facebook that Jim's mom passed?" And I told Jim, I said, "I don't know why." I said, but when I read that, it made me so emotional, and I just started to cry, and I just walked out the store. And I sat in my truck, and I'm like, well, what is it about that made me so emotional? And then I thought, well, for the last 2 or 3 years, I think we've all, those of us that go to Metron, love Jim and Ken, and I think we've all carried a little piece of Miss Darlene with us because Jim has been so just loving and kind in the way that he's allowed his outer family to be part of his inner family. And so I felt like I'd really got to know Miss Darlene through Jim and her personality. And I've met her a few times over the last 13 years or so. And I actually thought she was a hoot and adorable. Not that I'm sure a lot of other people did too, because I could tell she had that sense of humor about her that was, if she was my neighbor, I would get a good laugh out of her every once in a while. But yeah, it's sad when people pass. But anyhow, y'all, peace be unto you. Did I finish my post? Well, if I didn't, it's finished now. Love y'all.